These are without a doubt the best keybinds anyone could ever use. Whether you're a new player, experienced player, it doesn't matter. The stock keybinds are really clunky. For some reason, this game loves to use left alt as its modifier for everything. I like to use left shift because your pinky is always on shift because you're sprinting around. There's a lot of things that I unbind because I don't use them. A lot of things that we rebind, and then there's some new keybinds too, like switching shoulders and vaulting that they recently added. We just did some push-ups, so I'm out of breath. Probably do more cardio. Let's just start. We'll start at the top. WSAD unchanged, nothing changed there, everything's the same. This stuff, leans, Q and E changed to press. Default keybind is continuous, which is really awkward because then you have to hold Q or E to lean and then also use WSAD at the same time to try to strafe if you're trying to like peek somebody, so that doesn't work. Switch those to a press. And then smooth leans, I make those left shift Q and E because again, it's like left alt A and D, I think is stock keybind. So why not keep it as the same button as your regular leans, just make it with a shift modifier. So then if you're sitting behind a wall and you want to do the slight peek instead of the full peek, you just hold shift and it's Q and E, it's the same thing.
Use these keybinds or Kilo will one tap you every raid for the rest of wipe kek.
Exactly, like he tapped me in the fucking thorax left armpit yesterday. Feels good, man. Fire obviously stays the same. Aim, I like to switch that to continuous because otherwise stock keybind is on press. And when it's on press, that means you click in the mouse, it stays ADS. I like to hold down the mouse to ADS and then let go, kind of like Call of Duty. If you don't, it just, yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's slower. It's more clunky when it's on press. Switch between sites. So this is one that I don't really use that much. If you're the kind of person that uses a lot of, you know, either the Bravo site with the top sight on it, or some of those new scope rings have top mounts as well, or if you use the hammer sight, for example, as well, you're going to use this a little bit more than me. I put it on left shift and middle mouse wheel down because I don't really use it ever. This one I do use a lot though. Change scope magnification, that's to like go from 1x to 4x, 1x to 6x. That is on a press. I put that on my mouse, so the forward button on my mouse, so the two thumb buttons. My free look, I moved to left alt because you'll see here down a little further, my click in middle mouse wheel, I changed that to my switch shoulders so that all the things to do with weapon handling and changing my scopes and stuff is all on my mouse. Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. So yeah, free look becomes left alt. This stuff stays the same. My push to talk is my back button on my thumb on my mouse. You can kind of make that whatever. You could also switch that if you wanted to. Switch between sites, put that on your mouse maybe, and then make your push to talk something on your keyboard. If you're used to maybe pressing, I don't know, K or whatever the stock keybind is, then you can keep that. I move my phrase menu as well to P because I liked using Y. You'll see that here in a second. I don't really use the phrase menu that often, so I move that all the way over to P. And then this one's really important actually because no one ever just wants to check their time. This would normally be set to a double click for the check time and exits. Check time and exits, we switch that to a single press and unbind the regular one because that's not ideal. Toggle tactical devices, that's where my Y comes back in. So a lot of people, I think the stock keybind is T for that, whereas I made T my check ammo. So I kind of changed, yeah, exactly. Check ammo is T on a double click for me. So then I made Y my tactical devices. So Y on a single press is my flashlight on and off. You could leave it on T as long as you make this switch tactical device mode Y, or like T for you, I guess, double click, because then it would just be a double tap to change to laser to, you know, IR laser, whatever, cycle through the modes. Next previous, don't change that. Grenade on a press is fine. Reload. So this is where it gets a little spicy again because the stock keybinds for this are a little funky. I'm gonna try to put it kind of close to the top. Where was it? Yeah, right here. So R is typically on a release, and I get why they keep it on a release because they want you to be able to select which mag you're going to use. Typically you would hold R and then you can use the scroll wheel to pick which mag in your rig. Nobody does that ever because everyone uses the same ammo in all of their mags for the most part. So switch the release to a press. Your reloads are going to be a lot faster. You're also going to want to unbind the emergency reload so you don't drop mags by accidentally double tapping R. Best way you can do that is switch that to a double click and then switch it back to a press. It'll unbind your emergency reload. My drop backpack is shift and V, and you'll see why, because we end up making discard V a little further down, but make that a press as well, not a double click. Shift V for backpack because you're already pressing shift anyway, right? So you just tap V, boom, your backpack's on the ground. Those I don't use. Check ammo T, double press. Yeah, I was just talking about that. Switch fire mode still on B. I get rid of the check fire modes and switch fire mode to alt or full auto. I just spam B until it's on auto. Oh, this is a fun one actually. So down here you'll see it says inspect current weapon is L on a press. We also make fix malfunction check chamber L release. So then if you get a malfunction, you press L, you hold it while he inspects it, you let go of it, he fixes it. It's all on one button. You don't have to press 3 different buttons. Life so much easier. I've literally managed to fix a malfunction in the time it took somebody to reload. So that was really nice. Saved my life. These I don't really change except for prone. For some reason, prone is on, is it X by default in this game, which is really weird. I don't think I've ever seen that before. I switch it back to left control like Call of Duty and every other game. So that's one thing that I changed there. This one is honestly, this next keybind is the most important thing that I want every single person to do. Please don't ever run the stock bind for this. Stock bind for sprint is left shift on a press. And the problem with the left shift press is that you might notice every time you go to stop, you do a little there's a little like hockey stop that happens, and that only happens on left shift press. If you switch to left shift continuous, when you let go of shift, it just stops sprinting. It goes back to a walk like everybody else. So please change that. Crouch C is normally on a release. We change that to a press as well because you want to crouch immediately. I get why they have it on a release because again, you can use the scroll wheel while holding C to like change your peak heights. You can still do that with it on a press. I just like being able to immediately crouch up, crouch down, whatever I need to. I unbind all of these because I never use them. The overhead blind fires, they're also a little bit weird now with new setup, so I don't use any of those. The other issue I had with those was that they were set to left alt, and where left alt was my free look, I would try to left alt and then sprint kind of diagonally, and it would start doing some weird right hand fire shit and stuff, and I was like, no, okay, we're done. I unbound all of these. I don't use them. Fold, I don't change any of those. Oh yeah, melee weapon, I switched that to X because it's typically on V. I don't keep melee attack bound. Usually if you want your melee out, it's more than for a single attack. So I just have melee weapon on X and then you just spam left click, right click to use your melee. Sidearm, yeah, they added a new sidearm quick swap. So typically this one is set to press. Regular sidearm is set to press. Sidearm quick swap is set to double click. I just switched sidearm quick swap to press. Unbound regular sidearm. So now it just always does the quick swap, which is nice. So yeah, definitely do that one. And then, oh, I get a little funky here too. So slot 4 is 4, slot 5 is 5, slot 6 is also 5. And my reasoning for that is that one is on a press, one is on a release. I put my heavy bleed on 5 press, my light bleed on 5 release. And then if I ever get a bleed of any kind, all I do is press 5 and it fixes whatever bleed. It fixes the heavy bleed obviously first if I have one because my heavy bleed is on press, and then release is the light bleed, so it'll fix the light bleed if I have one of those, and it's just infinitely better, so much cleaner. That's another really good one, especially for newer players that don't want to try to get too finicky with the healing system, and even experienced players too. Experienced players should definitely be doing that. Saves you a lot of time. Discard, yeah, I switched the discard to V. I don't really use my elevations ever. I just aim them higher. I don't try to zero my scopes that much. Yeah, discard becomes V, so then if you want to drop something on the ground, you're not right-clicking discard, right-clicking discard. You can just hover over with your mouse, press V, drop that shit on the ground for your buddy or whatever. Hold breath. I use left shift for my hold breath on a press. So then, again, you're not moving your hand. You're sprinting with W and shift. You let go of W because you stop shifting. You ADS with the right-click, and then you tap left shift again. So your hand doesn't have to move. You're just going from holding left shift to tapping left shift one time, and then it's holding breath, and it's ready to go. So this is the only two that I really need to talk about is the brand new one. So we have shoulder transition is my middle mouse down. You don't use that too much, except for maybe, you know, you're swinging a corner right side, but it's nice having that on the mouse so you can kind of just hit it and go really quick. And then vaulting. So vaulting, I moved that to Z because again, I think Z was normally the backpack drop, which we made shift V, so we don't have anything on there anymore. And I make it Z or Z continuous, which is super nice because now when you're sprinting, you can hold shift W, drop your ring finger back to Z, and just hold that and it'll vault over whatever you run into, but you're not using that space because like, or yeah, space, it used to be space bar, right? It was space bar up here. Oh, that's another one we should talk about too. Another one that's really weird is they changed space to release. Space was no longer a press when I first logged in this wipe. It was a release, which felt really bad and really clunky. So yeah, space goes back to being a press for jump, and then you have a very different button for vaulting. If you want to vault, it's Z. You just fucking hold that shit down while holding W or shift and W, and then you vault over whatever's in front of you. I got really used to it. Now I love it. I would never switch that back. At first I was like, I don't know. I was just kind of trying it out, but now it's gotten really comfy, and I would not switch that. But those are my keybinds currently. If you have any questions, obviously let me know. I will try to answer the best I can. I don't really change anything else crazy in here. I dropped some sound down. I haven't been using binaural this wipe either. Yeah, that is pretty much it, dude. Enjoy.